You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network. Now, the largest new media platform on the web and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Baby Daddy After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Baby Daddy.
Hello, AfterBuzzers. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 1 of the Baby Daddy After Show. I'm your host, Annika Michelle, and with me is my wonderful co-host.
Hi, I'm Anik Dufour.
Welcome, guys. This is the first episode we're doing here at AfterBuzz for Baby Daddy. It's one of my favorite shows and hers as well. So we're so excited to do this for you guys. I'm sure it's your guys' favorite too. Well, let's just jump right in. There's a lot going on in this episode with the different characters. So let's just get right into it, starting with Ben and Riley.
Yeah.
And, whoops. Little boredom malfunction there. Well, in this episode, Ben and Riley, you can tell they have a thing for each other. And she asks him to come to an event with her because they were dancing in last season they were dancing and it ended with them dancing at a wedding together. And she was like, oh, I think he likes me, you know how girls get. So, so she invited him to come to this event.
Yes. And of course, everything falls apart.
Yeah, right?
It always falls apart for
always.
him,
It never fails. But he agrees to come with her. He's so excited she asked. And so he agrees to come with her to this party for her workplace. And like Anik said, everything goes wrong to inhibit him from getting there. And starting with...
Well, he actually had a date with the two... was it with the mom? No.
No, that wasn't him. That was the brother.
That was the brother, Danny. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm getting them confused.
Yeah.
I apologize. Names are not good for
That was the brother.
So, yeah, he was getting all ready and dressed up and, like, ready to go. And then, of course, first, Danny wanted to go. Right. And then he's like, oh, well, can I go instead, and stuff like that. So Danny's like, okay, well, you can go with her instead.
Yeah, because Ben had to cancel on her.
Right.
Because the reason she canceled, though, is because, I want to call her Chelsea. Riley found out that in that wedding, Ben, was making out with a bridesmaid right before he kissed her.
Right.
And Ben ended up on a website called henevercalled.com where girls go and, like, vent about guys that never call them back. And he was on there. So Riley finds out and is really upset with Ben, like, how could you do this? How could you not call her back? Like, and so kind of uninvites him and invites Danny to go instead.
Right. Yeah. And then, of course, then he's like, oh, well, Ben's like, oh, well, let me go instead. Let me go instead. Like, begging, Danny to go. So Danny finally lets him go. And then so he's getting all dressed up and stuff. And he wants to, like, prove to her that he's not that type of guy. Not that, like, typical guy.
Right.
And he's all dressed up. And then the baby just disappears.
Mishaps happen with the baby and the mama. But it's funny because it shows you, like, the length he goes through. He just doesn't want to tell her, like, oh, this is it. Like, he actually, like, calls that girl who put him on that website and says, like, hey, can you come down to the bar to meet me? So he, like, gets the girl to come down who he never called back. And it kind of explains to her, like, why he didn't call her. And without saying it so much, says it's because of Riley. And she agrees to take him off that site. He goes back to Riley and he's like, yeah, hey, like, I'm off the site. I would love to go with you.
Right.
And Riley's like, okay. The mom agrees to babysit. Well, before we get into the mom and what happens with the baby, everyone out there, guys, if you haven't seen Serial Buddies yet, we both went and watched it. It was so good. It's finally out for video on demand to purchase. You guys can purchase that at serialbuddies.com, and you guys can watch on your iPads. You can watch on iTunes. You can download it. It is seriously, I was crying. I was laughing so hard. It was so good. We all went together to watch it. And some of the people in it, if you guys want to know, of course, Maria Menounos is in it. And there's Kathy Lee Gifford, Beth Burrs, Artie Lang, Christopher Lloyd, Christopher McDonald, like huge cast of wonderful people, talented people. It is, you guys will love it. So it's really cheap. Help support us. If you guys are liking what we're doing here, that's one way we can keep going. It's really reasonable for you guys to purchase. Like I said, follow them on Twitter at _serial buddies
Serial buddy, serials _ buddies.
There we go. That's what I meant. Serial _ buddies. I was rolling on the floor. Like, I can't wait to watch this again. I'm so happy it came out. So definitely go to serialbuddies.com. Make sure you purchase it. Download it on iTunes. Watch it on your iPad. Go to the gym with it. People will think you're crazy because you're laughing, but you know what? You're working out, so it's okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
But definitely go check it out, guys, before we get into this more.
Yeah, it helps AfterBuzz and keeps us giving you more free content.
It does.
High quality definition videos. So if you want to keep AfterBuzz going, go buy Serial Buddies online.
Do it. And follow them on Twitter, too. Support them on there as well. You can tweet to the Twitter account and let them know how much you love the movie.
And let Maria know how much you love the movie.
Yeah, Maria would love to hear that too, guys. So make sure you guys include her in the tweets as well. Yeah. So before we get into what really happens with the baby, Bonnie, Danny and Ben's mom, decides to go on a date. Well, she meets this guy. She takes the baby to meet a guy. She meets this guy, Marcus, who had a kid. And so she's like, oh, great, match made in heaven, whatever. They go to dinner, and he was kind of a mess. I would have left, but what would you have done, Anik?
I would I mean, it's something that would happen to me, of course.
Yeah.
But he I guess he owns a chain of dry cleaners. And so the only thing that they were talking about the whole date, or he was talking to her about the whole date, was how to get stains out of different, the different types of stains there are and how to get it out of. And she was bored.
Right. I mean, as any girl would be.
Right.
And don't get us wrong, guys. We love that you guys know how to do laundry, but we don't want to talk about it on a date.
No, not at all.
Don't do that, guys. But go on.
And then so they went on a date, and then she's like, oh, please, I just can't, I can't deal, with him.
Right.
And when she comes back to Ben's apartment.
Yes.
And, of course, for some reason, I don't know how it happens, but Marcus's grandson, along with his cell phone, were in the stroller, and they switched babies.
They accidentally walked off with the wrong strollers.
Right. So
they came home with the wrong baby.
Right. It's, again, something that would happen to me, not my baby, but
yeah, I mean, I just can't imagine being the grandma and coming home to your son hey, look at the baby's asleep, and it's and then Ben picked up the baby and is like, Mom, this is not my child.
I mean, didn't she notice that the baby was not white?
Right.
I just don't.
And a boy, maybe not in a pink stroller. No, okay. But that's kind of her character. She's kind of out there and but she's hilarious. She cracks me up. I love her in the show. But
I think Melissa Peterman is just a great actress.
Yeah, she does a great job in this role for sure.
Timing. Yeah.
Yeah. She's a great improv actor too. So it's fun to watch her do that. But yeah, so she comes home with the wrong baby, and Ben's like, okay, let's not freak out, And you guys remember Danny's already agreed to let him go because he's ready to go on this date with Riley.
And then Danny said that he was okay going on the double date with the models.
Yeah. Models and Tucker.
Which
is another story because Tucker is maybe 5'5", and these models are 6 foot.
Yeah,
so
I love when he's like, well, Tucker's like, well, I can handle it.
Right,
and then Danny's like, you do know they're models, right?
Yeah, and he's like, I love a good climb.
Yeah.
So it's just funny watching him go out with these supermodels. But yeah, she comes back and the guy's cell phone ends up being in the stroller.
Right.
Of course. So she can't contact him. She can't figure out how to get the baby back. Somehow they get a hold of each other. They come back to
because
the,
she had,
Oh,
I
the
guess, the
card.
card, and then she stuck gum on it. So I don't know if she peeled off the gum or whatever.
yeah. And she must have called him or something. They went back to the cafe and they switched places. But the funny thing is, like, Marcus didn't seem like too, like, he was like, oh, okay, no big deal. Like, oh, yeah, you took my kid.
Nobody
Like,
was just like, whatever. I'm like, didn't she notice too?
like, you walked off with the pink stroller when yours was all blue with the boy? No? Okay. But, it was just funny. It just made me laugh because it's like she was freaking out because Ben was freaking out. And then he just was like, oh, yeah, like, whoopsie. Like, this happens all the time, you know? I was like, I would never let someone take my child out like that. And then.
I know. And then in the process, Ben is late
Yes.
for the whole date with Riley.
Yeah.
And then, of course, that blows up in her face.
Right. Well, because he calls
Right.
his brother, Danny. He's
Right.
like, I'm going to be late. I don't know if I'll make it. So since Danny also had a thing for Riley that we found out he liked her before and is saying he's over, but we, cameras say a different story.
Right.
And he decided to go show up
Yeah.
at the party and
of course, he's all excited that he's there. He's like, yeah. And then here comes.
by the way, I loved her dress.
Right?
She looked so
That's the first thing
gorgeous.
I said. I was like, that is a cute dress.
I wanted her dress. I'm sure it'll come up
We
for
need
you
to
guys
find
see
out,
it.
like,
But you guys,
where that's
it's
from.
such a gorgeous dress. Anyways, so he goes to save her at this party. Danny goes to save her.
Right. And then she's like, "Oh, Danny, you're here for me. You're always
She
here
looked
for
so
me."
happy. I was
Yeah.
like, aw.
I think she's like, "You're always here
Yeah.
for me," type of thing, and it's cute because I like them together.
Yeah, and she was like, what did I do to deserve you? And he's like, just be yourself. I was
I
like, oh my
know.
God, this is so cute. Get
And like the
together
best
already.
thing would be if he would like have his shirt off and be like,
Of course. Yes.
"What did I do to deserve you?" I'm just like, yeah, no, okay. 646.
Right.
Yeah. So what was I saying? I can't
No,
remember.
she got distracted by shirtless Derek
I know,
Taylor.
I know. It's like flashing in my
fine.
head. It's like shirtless.
No. So he goes to save her, and she's like, oh my God, I'm so happy you're here. Like, this is so sweet.
Right.
And then, like, all of a sudden, he's like, oh, let's go dance. Let's get this party started. I'm here. You don't have to be alone. And in comes walking this guy in a suit who Danny thinks is the caterer.
Right. And then he's like giving him like drinks.
Right. Because he came walking
He's,
holding
like,
two
taking a
drinks.
drink,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then like Danny's like, oh, like I don't have cash, and he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just here with Riley. And he's like, oh, okay, yeah. Like, thanks for the drinks, man. Like, see ya, And Riley's like, look, like I didn't know you were gonna come. Like, it's so sweet of you to surprise me, but I just called him and.
Yeah, and then like I kind of like he's like a brother.
Yeah, the
of
brother
somebody.
of like an intern that she works
Right,
with.
and
yeah.
then he's a doctor,
brother.
and I don't know his name.
Fitch in the show, real life, Matt Dallas.
Matt Dallas.
From I think he was on Kyle XY before with Jean-Luc.
Yeah.
So this cast is kind of reuniting on the show. It's kind of funny.
And then there goes poor Danny.
Yeah.
And then here comes Ben
He was like, I'm gonna save the day with the baby strapped on
with
him.
the baby. Here comes Ben with the baby.
He's like, I'm not gonna let this thing stop me. I got the baby.
And he's
in the
like,
back."
I'm here. And then, that
Yeah.
just totally.
And then Jenny's like, oh, well, have a good night, and kind of leaves. And it's just like, it's so sad watching their faces watch Riley dance with another man.
I know.
Now, I don't know how many guys of you have been out there who have seen the girl you like dance with another man and how that feels, but I can't imagine that it would feel too good.
I mean, it's the opposite for me. I always see the guy I like dancing with
I'm
another
sure.
girl,
I mean, I've
so.
seen that, and it's not fun times, but it's not something you want to see in your life. But I can just imagine like that sucks. It's like he went through so much. Even strapped the baby on, came with bottles prepared because he was not gonna make it an early night. And there she is, like, looking happy with someone else.
Yeah, and then he just hands him the drink, and he's like, "Oh, have a good night."
Yeah, and just leaves. But I can tell that this show's going to do a lot more with these two relationships, like Riley and Ben and Danny and Ben. I mean, sorry, Danny and Riley, not Danny and Ben. They're brother and sister. They're brothers.
They're brother and sister.
No, got so tongue-tied. Oh, my God. Okay, you guys know what I'm saying. Danny and Ben and Riley and Danny. No, wait.
Danny and Riley and Ben.
Yes, there
Yay,
you go.
thank
She
you.
got it. My wonderful. Thank you. That deserves an applause, Marissa. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, I just think that I like that they're doing that kind of. It's fun to see.
Yeah, so do I, because it just like adds like a little. Because I mean, I could see with both.
I can see with both too.
But it's like you kind of like pulling for one, and
Who are you pulling for right now?
I don't know. You know, I think she's gonna end up. She might. Well, this is. Of course.
I guess we should wait till
we should wait till predictions.
Okay. Before we get into that, though, really fast side note in this episode, Tucker, who went on this double date, was supposed to tell the models that Danny is going to go save Riley at the event.
Right.
But he decided to not give that information because, of course, what guy doesn't want to go out with two supermodels?
Right.
So you see Tucker, like, really short and these two models, like, towering over him at the cafe, and I just thought that was really funny.
That was funny.
Yeah,
it
was a cute moment, and he was like all into it too, like trying to be all romantic, and like he's barely at their chest. I was like, oh, this is great.
Yeah, he's not even at their chest. I think like the top of his head is at their chest.
He's like, let's go, ladies, and they're like all for it. They're like, okay, let's do this, you know. But that was a side note. And you want to move to news and gossip?
Sure.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Well, we have a little treat for everybody out there, especially all the ladies. You guys will like this one. Yesterday was the season premiere of this Baby Daddy, and the cast decided to have a tweet off and to see who can get the most followers. So they were live tweeting East Coast time of the show premiere, and they were trying to get the most followers, and Derek Thieler who plays Danny, promised all his followers that if he gets the most followers in this tweet off and wins, he will tweet out a shirtless picture of himself. And just for you guys at home, I have the picture for you. If you guys can see it, she has it up right there for you guys. It's gorgeous Derek Thieler at the gym, shirtless. And it's funny because if you look at his Twitter, the creator of the show said like, hey, like you won the tweet off, like where's that picture, or else I'm like writing you off the show.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, my boss said I have to tweet this picture, gotta tweet it, you know. And so like he sent that shirtless picture up. But you know, I have a feeling like if he had put that picture beforehand, he would have gotten a lot more followers from the beginning. There would have been no race, you know. But I'm sure everyone who's following him now enjoys seeing him shirtless and enjoys that picture. And thank you, Derek Thieler, for tweeting that. And second item of news and gossip, as you can see in that picture, he actually got in Us Weekly's magazine for hottest bodies of 2013. The hottest star bodies of 2013. And they interviewed him, like a brief interview, like what he likes to do to stay fit. Mm-hmm. He said he likes sports, basketball. He's a very active person. He's here in LA, so he says on the weekends you can pretty much find him at the beach. I don't know which one, ladies. Don't go stalking him, but...
I was just going to say, I'm like, let's go.
I don't know which beach he's at, but he said he likes to do a lot of fitness at the beach and loves to stay active, loves to stay fit, and there it is. And the results, as you can see, have paid off. So that's our little news and gossip for you. Congratulations to him for making the list for Us Weekly's hottest bodies. In that list, Adam Levine, David Beckham, some really good celebrities. So check it out, guys. Check out the magazine and go read the more interview on him.
Yeah.
And now, your
Prediction.
Oh my God. Moving on to predictions, guys. So I'm gonna you go first. I'm gonna let you go first on the predictions.
Well, my predictions. I think that the whole like love triangle thing is hopefully gonna come together.
Yeah.
This season, I want, or maybe I should say, not predict, but I'd kind of like to see her, Riley and Ben get together, and then her realize that, oh, maybe, it's not really him that I like, that I'm in love with, but it's Danny. I don't know.
I can see that happening. I do want her and Ben to get together, and I do want her and Danny, but because, they've been best friends since they were little. It's like a cute story. You're like, oh my God, we grew up together and we played in the sandbox, But I don't know. I feel like her and Ben would be better, maybe.
Better?
Yeah. I don't know if better is the word, because she's so good with the kid, you
Right,
know?
right.
And she's already helping take care of Emma, who's, by the way, side note, I don't know if you guys know at home, Emma is played by 2 adorable twins, Zoe and Mila. So they're so cute, and I just think it's adorable that that's what TV shows usually do.
Right,
with
twins or triplets or.
But yeah, she's already doing such a great job with Emma, and I would love to see him. Like, I would love to see something serious turn out with Ben and Riley.
Yeah.
And hopefully Tucker to find someone his own height.
Aww.
He's adorable. I mean, he's great. I love Tosh, but yeah.
Aww.
It's cute. It's a cute match. But thank you guys for joining
Yay,
us.
we're excited.
Keep listening, because hopefully we'll have some special guests in here very soon. I don't want to give any details, but keep listening, and I think you guys will be really happy.
Yes.
I'm your host, Annika Michelle. You guys can find me on Twitter at Annika_Michelle or on Facebook.com/Annika Michelle.
And I'm your host, Anik Dufour, and you can find me on Twitter at JustAnik, on Instagram at JustAnik, and my website, AnikDufour.com.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.